was very complicated, to say the least, but that's what it was about. But what happened is a lot of us on the corporate mission thought that basically we could get it sorted out and there could be a new evolution in Scientology management. It really wouldn't be run like it shouldn't be run. It really wouldn't be money going, like millions of dollars were going to Hubbard undercover, and that could stop. Well, what happened is we spent millions of dollars. We spent a long time. We got a corporate planning together. I brought it to Miscavige myself and sat with him for a good 5 hours and answered his questions. And to summarize it all out, because a lot of people here aren't going to be corporate people, there were 4 things that was going to be organized Scientology. The Church of Scientology International, a new corporation, would actually manage Scientology. Not Hubbard, not Miscavige. It would be the Church of Scientology International. And in the Church of Scientology International would be the Commodore's Messenger Organization International, the Executive Director International's office, the real management. So that would be cool. They would have contracts with all the other churches of Scientology, what have you, and everything would be real smooth. The second thing is we created a body called Religious Technology Center, and it really was not supposed to be management, and it would focus on the, as it were, the pureness of Hubbard's technology covered by the trademarks. Okay, that was fair enough. And then the third thing is that money could still go to Hubbard, but not by cover-up and lies as was done before, but actually via legally defensible channels like royalties, for his books and what have you. And lastly, Author Services would be created, a company called Author Services International, or Incorporated, and it would truly be an organization that does what it says, which is make money on Hubbard's fiction works, and it would totally be separate out from the management of the Church of Scientology. So really, with those 4 things, it would be a whole new evolution in Scientology's corporate status and management. It would be honest and straightforward, and that's what the corporate sort-out was designed to do. But the problem is, it didn't do it. It just made it look like that was the case. And for example, and I didn't want to I don't want to bore anybody on this, but as an example, prior to the corporate sort-out, in the years prior, there were several $1 million funneled to Hubbard through a phony corporation called Religious Research Foundation. Now, the mission corporate category sort-out, those guys were trying to figure out how to make that legally defensible retroactively. Like, oh my God, what a mistake, what a horrible thing that this money, because Hubbard was putting out issues that to all Scientologists that he never benefited from Scientology and never took any money. But the fact is, he was taking several $1 million while staffs were starving. I mean, he would advise and write policies that international management take all the money they can off the top of all the organizations, whether they're in Germany, the U.S., or whatever, so that the organizations could not spend them, but then a lot of it ended up getting funneled to him. So while that was a thing that happened prior to the corporate sort-out, and we thought the corporate sort-out would prevent that from happening in the future, just the opposite happened. For example, in the year after the corporate sort-out with Miscavige running things, if you look at testimony from the Julie Christopherson Tichborne case, testimony by Homer Schomer, and affidavits that were in a case after that, you'll find out that in 82 alone, DM funneled over $40 million, not $2 million like before, but $40 million to Hubbard. He, in every way, the corporate integrity that was made to appear real in the new structure was completely untrue. He, in every way, ran organized Scientology through Author Services. And he did that through running the top dogs, like he ran the Watchdog Committee chairman, Mark Yeager at the time, and Watchdog Committee Finance, another Mark. He ran me as special unit. He ran Steve Marlowe as Religious Technology Center. So he would have meetings over at ASI, secret meetings that we would go to, and he would basically tell us who's going to be running the church, who's not going to be running the church. But it turned out that the corporate structure that was done was made to appear impenetrable and very defensible, but it was hiding the same level of fraud, even worse than prior to that. Yeah. So anyway, I could go on with a great deal of detail, but I think that probably one example that explains it the best is after the corporate corporate structure was done, right? And so now I'm an executive in CSI, in the highest authority body, which is Watchdog Committee, right? And so are 7 or 8 other people. Well, Miscavige is over in Author Services, which is supposed to just be handling Hubbard's fiction works. But in reality, he's ordering us what to do, and that we have to send money to Hubbard, not for the fiction works, but for Scientology works. And it was a weekly demand. In that time period in '82 where $40 million got funneled, there was calls from Miscavige and his people every single week. $1 million's got to go, $500,000's got to go, work out whatever the significance is. He threatened to strangle people if they didn't do it. I've even gone to the international...
This is Hubbard, or is this Miscavige?
This is Miscavige. I've even gone, in this time period where later in courts he said he was in Author Services, right? Not involved in running the church.
Yeah.
In that exact time period, I have seen him at the church's international headquarters. I've seen him take a top WDC member, punch him hard in the mouth, another one strangled down to the floor, another one slapped down, because they wouldn't listen to him and Hubbard. And all this time, Miscavige is saying in court, I'm not involved in the running of it. We're all separate corporations. Hubbard's not involved. Well, it's totally lie. I mean, because I was on Watchdog Committee, I had Hubbard's orders every single week. And every week we got orders from him what to do, and including what to do about non-Hubbard technology in churches, what to do on the corporate stuff and all that. And it was regular and ongoing.
If you didn't do those things,
enforcer.
Yeah, if you didn't do those things, then he would punish people with felony violence.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were people that came to me that were busted, that asked if they were going to jail. They've been told they're going to jail, and I'm just trying to tell them that they're not going to jail, but they're told they're going to jail. You see, what happened is, there's some things that have been in, like John Attack's book, for example, A Piece of Blue Sky, where he talks about the brutality of taking over the Mission Network. That is absolutely true. Everything I've read in there, and I've read that whole section, is absolutely true, and in fact, in many cases, an understatement. He would regularly use the brutality that he learned from Hubbard at that time.
Yeah.
And he didn't trust anybody. And like little things that haven't been posted, like for example, that are not known. I was on, in early '81, I was on the first WISE mission to incorporate WISE in Liechtenstein. And the person I was taking my orders from was Hubbard via telexes. And I did incorporate the first WISE corporation in Liechtenstein, which we didn't use because Hubbard said the name killed the PR because it was WISE Limited.
Yeah.
But in any event, the significance of this was, 1, Hubbard was running it at the time that Miscavige says Hubbard was not. 2, I know what the real purpose of WISE was, and it was nothing that had to do with all the grand goals and beautiful things stated in WISE promotion. The real purpose of WISE was right from Hubbard. He completely distrusted public Scientologists and thought they were going to rip off organizations, and they had to be handled with terminatedly and at once. So part of the handling was to set up an organization that would police, corral, control them, and even take money from them and keep them off of the organization's lines. And the other part of the handling was to use the newly created finance police to put people in jail and put heads on pikes. So Hubbard had ordered that, and DM was carrying it out. And Wendell, and if you wanted to see testimony on this that's very real, there's Don Larson worked under Wendell Reynolds in the finance police, and he did many brutal acts of extortion and that on Scientologists, and he's even admitted it. Yeah. You can find it on the web, his own video, where he's apologizing for having done it. Well, I've seen him do it, and I've seen others do it. But DM says, Miscavige says, as I said later in court, that, he and Hubbard were not running things, which they were. And they took over from the GO because the GO was brutal and bad and violated Scientology policy and all that. But in actual
his wife was running the GO, Mary Sue Hubbard.
Hubbard was running the GO. I mean, Mary Sue, his wife, was known as the controller.
All right.
And she was, prior to that, her title was Commodore's Staff 7. GO. Commodore Staff GO. And so they had to change that name because Commodore was Hubbard, and it made it clear that Hubbard was running Mary Sue, who was running the GO.
Yeah.
So they changed the controller so that it would look like she was controlling the GO and not Hubbard, but he was.